Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Mike's Talks and Thoughts here, back again with another video for you guys. And today I have the community characters tier list here for you guys. Now, I know that there's a fan out there on my channel named Chang. He has been looking forward to this community tier list for a while now, and I recently had the chance to finish community, and I was glad to finish it. It was such a great finale, and it just a great relief finishing the series and knowing how it all ends for you guys and being able to talk more about it and about these characters in the later seasons. I still definitely prefer those earlier seasons, but the later seasons, there are some gems in there as well. And today I thought I would do a characters tier list for you guys, ranking the community characters. So yeah, let's get started here. So first here we have probably the main character on the story, Jeff Winger. He is a really great character, and for me, he goes in the A tier. A really great main character, really central to the group. Pretty much most of the stories or the plots of episodes revolve around Jeff. So for me, he's got to go in A tier. He's a great character, and yeah, A tier. Next here we have Garrett. He is one of the better side characters on the show, and I love his wedding in the final season. That episode is hilarious. One of the best episodes of the final season. For me, though, I'm going to put him in high B. He's high B. He's really great. He's pretty funny, but we don't see him a lot compared to some other side characters on the show. I think he's pretty great. Having that Greendale flair. And his standout episode is definitely his wedding episode. Next here we have Pierce Hawthorne. And I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but for me, Pierce is S tier. And for me, Pierce might be the best character on the entire show. He was so hilarious. Chevy Chase is hilarious. Season 1, Pierce had me dying so much. He was so funny. And even season 2 and 3, he was really good. They really, trashed his character in season 4. I know that there was tensions going on with Chevy Chase at the time, but still, such a great character. Pierce is so funny, man. Pierce is one of the funniest characters. One of my favorite characters for sure. It's sad to see how he went, but of course, in season 5, the episode where they talk about Pierce again, that was one of the best episodes in the entire show. One of the funniest. Any episode revolving around Pierce is just pretty funny. He's an S tier character for me. I know that's a very unpopular opinion to put him up towards the top of the main 7, but for me, he's up there, S tier. And another one in the S tier is going to be Abed, man. Abed was hilarious. Easily, if I couldn't take Pierce in those earlier seasons, Abed was my number 2. And as Pierce left the show, Abed became my number 1 favorite character. Abed is just so quirky and so lovable. I love his TV and movie references. They're amazing in the show. Really great callbacks and a lot of nostalgia for people who've seen the pop culture references. I love the Pulp Fiction episode. That's one of my favorites in the entire series. Abed's great also in the paintball games that they do. I love a lot of his movies that they end up doing in the show. Just a really great character. And you can't have Abed without Troy. So for me, man, I got to put Troy in the S tier. Troy is awesome. Troy and Abed, some of the best relationships on the show. Friendship. What a great friendship that was. Donald Glover does a great job as Troy. Again, episodes centered around Troy and Abed were some of the best in the entire series. And Troy, for me, is S tier as well. Next year, another one of the great side characters. We have Starburns, and he's going to go in B tier. He has a lot of great episodes. For me, he is really, really great. All the trouble he gets into, and he kind of does this thing where he fakes his own death, but then you find out that he is still kind of living on the campus. He's a pretty solid side character, right there with Garrett, so B tier. Another one that's in that B tier and sticks around for a little bit is Todd. Todd was a little bit involved with the main study group for a little bit in the 3rd season. But again, just kind of on that side character B tier list. He was a good side character, but nothing too great, so just goes in the B tier. Next tier we have Elroy, and for me, I'm really not a big fan of the characters that they add in season 6. It just feels a lot like filler to me. I love Keith David though, so I'm gonna put him in C tier. He just feels like such a filler character. Nothing really memorable about him. Nothing that really stands out. So for me, he's just gonna go in the C tier. Same with Vicky here. Vicky's also gonna go in the C tier. Again, a solid side character, but not one of my favorites. Next, here we have Ben Chang or Kevin. That's, of course, a callback to season 4. I'm going to put Chang in A tier. You know, Chang is pretty great. I think Chang is a lot better in the earlier seasons, you know, when he's the Spanish teacher, and then when he tries to get more involved with the group. And they kind of let him in a lot more in the later seasons, but he just goes really off the rails a lot of the time in the later seasons. A little bit too much for me. So for me, he's only going to go A tier. But still, a very solid placement. I think Chang is a solid character. Another one of my favorite side characters and one of my favorite actors, Jonathan Banks as Buzz Hickey in season 5 of Community. He's going to go in the A tier, you know. Great seeing Jonathan Banks back on screen. You know, he always brings it. It's so funny to see him. You know, he can be so funny and so dramatic. I love you know, the scenes with him and Jeff. I love the scene with him and Abed when they're talking about his drawings. That is a great, funny, and emotional scene. So for me, Jonathan Banks as Buzz Hickey goes in the A tier. Now for me, next tier, another one of these season 6 filler characters in Frankie. She's gonna go in the D tier, man. Very underwhelming character. Just not much to her. It kind of felt like they tried to make her just like a worse version of Annie. I just wasn't a big fan of her. Nothing really against her as much. She just was really below average. They could have done a lot better with a filler character than her, and just very unnecessary to the story. Yeah, D tier for me. Next here we have Shirley. I'm going to put Shirley in the B tier. Again, one of the people who are higher in the B tier. She's definitely towards the back end of the main 7, but she is still great. You know, Yvette Nicole Brown, great. Brings back a lot of childhood memories when she was on Drake and Josh, of course. So for me, B tier. Now Annie here. Annie, I'm going to put Annie in A tier. For the longest time, like the first season and about halfway through season 2, she was my least favorite of the main 7 from the study group. I just really didn't care for her character as much, and just something about her just didn't click with me. But she got a lot better over time for me. Became a lot more connected with her. I think she has really good dynamics with everyone else in the group. She works really well off of everyone. And yeah, gonna go in the A tier. Now, someone who is the opposite of Annie, someone who I really liked at the start and then just kind of fizzled off later on, was Britta. I think Britta is a good character, but for me, she just, something about her, man, just really didn't click with me in those later seasons. And for that, I'm gonna have to put her in the B tier. You know, she was really solid early on. I think her and Jeff had some of the best classic funny moments, of course, in the first season. And she does have good relationships, you know, with a lot of people in the group. I really wasn't the biggest fan of her and Troy's relationship. And she just kind of becomes a lot more bland in the later seasons to me, but still a good character. She's probably my least favorite of the Greendale 7, but still deserving of a B tier. Next tier we have Leonard, and for me, Leonard goes in the A tier. Now, I know that they brought in Elroy and Frankie, of course, in the final season, but man, I think after Chevy Chase left the group, I think Leonard would have been a perfect candidate to fit in that role. I love Jonathan Banks in that role, but once he was gone, man, they should have put Leonard in there. Leonard was hilarious, man. He was like a watered down Pierce, but so hilarious. One of the best side characters of all time. He is just such a funny character. Pretty much the embodiment of Pierce, some old dude going to community college. Really great. Next here we have the Dean. Of course, Jim Rash playing Dean Pelton. And he is very polarizing throughout a lot of the series. But for me, I'm going to put him in the B tier. I think he works really well off the study group. A lot of great episodes with him revolving around the study group. Very unusual to see a dean so active with everyone in the community. You usually never see the dean at a college. They're usually just kind of in their offices. But he is out there. He loves Greendale. And for me, B tier. Next here we have Fat Neal. Fat Neal's great as well. I'm going to put him in the B tier as well. Another solid character. One of the best episodes of the show was, of course, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, they had to remove that episode from streaming, but you can still find it online. And it's so great revolving around Fat Neal. This whole storyline that he's really depressed because Jeff gave him the nickname Fat Neal on accident. And then how he's playing Dungeons and Dragons with the group against Pierce at the time. Pierce is trying to kind of destroy him. Really funny. Pop. Next here we have Magnitude. Man, Magnitude is so great. Literally all he says is pop. But it's just so funny. He always comes in at the right moment. So B tier. Next here we have one of the Greendale professors, played by the infamous Michael K. Williams here. And for me, he's going to go in the B tier. Michael K. Williams, such a great character on Community. A really great professor. I really liked his class. I think the characters really work well in that class. Him as Professor Kane, really great. The Law and Order inspired episode, one of the best in the entire show for me, easily in my top 10, and it's revolved around his class. So B tier. Next here we have Andre. Of course, this is Shirley's husband, who you find out at the start he was cheating on Shirley. Then they eventually get back together, but then you really don't see him a lot after Shirley has her baby. So C tier for me. Another one that's going to go in C tiers. The Vice Dean. Vice Dean, he works in sort of the AC business, and he's actively trying to recruit Troy because Troy knows really good with all this handiwork with AC fixing and plumbing and all this. And he's pretty funny. Jonathan Goodman is a really great actor. So, but for me, you don't really see him that much. So C tier. Next up, Professor Duncan, another one in the C tier. Another one I was kind of indifferent to. Another one that I really wish they would have revealed this dude is the Ass Crack Bandit. I think that would have been great. We still don't find out to this day who that is, but you kind of have your own theories for that. Might make a video on that, the Ass Crack Bandit theory, but yeah. Professor Duncan, C tier, he's okay character, nothing too memorable. Next tier we have Alan. This dude's F tier, man. This is Jeff's law firm partner and someone who, is really a massive dick, man. This dude's a piece of crap. Easily the worst character on Community. Gonna go in F tier. And then Community itself, man. Community itself, S tier, man. What a great show. This was just such a great show for me, a show that I pretty much saw on a whim. I saw people talking about it, and I was looking for something to watch on Hulu, so I watched Community, and it was so great. Those first 3 seasons are amazing. The back 3 aren't the best, but they're definitely watchable in my opinion. And Community, I feel like, is one of the best sitcoms out there. Probably in the top 10 sitcoms for me at least. Such a great show with a lot of memorable characters and a lot of memorable moments. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and then comment down below some of your S tier characters from Community. And again, if you could like and subscribe for this video and on my channel and help me grow my community here, like community, that would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and peace.